You feeling it, I'm feeling it, we feeling it, let's deal with it. You feeling it, I'm feeling it, we feeling it, let's deal with it.
Yo, one time for your mind, two times for your soul. Strap in your seatbelts tight, now let's go. Taking you somewhere you've never been before, where knowledge reigns supreme and weighs more than gold. To the far reaches of the solar system, only thing to leave behind your inhibition. My mind's eye vision, walk the fine line to get it. Manifest through each cycle of existence. I am revealed as the anointed one, divine baptism, bathed in the rays of the morning sun. Shine from the prism, illuminate wisdom. Expose the isms with rhymes and reason. This is why I've risen from the tomb of ignorance. I know you're tired of waiting for deliverance, and here I am with something you can feel, bringing that brand new flavor in your ear. Let's go.
You feeling it, I'm feeling it, we feeling it, let's deal with it.
That's why there's incest amongst the stars, because the energy between Isis and the Set is the metaphor for there has to be complete unity in what happens amongst your God figure. It can't be anything outside of God that exists. And this is very important. Like, people don't understand that. When something outside of God actually manifests, it becomes the self of God. Now, this has to be amongst the union that's God. That's the Trinity. That's why they had to have Jesus in the presence of God before he came to earth. That's the statement, I love you. And the love of the Father and the Son, and Mother and the Son, has to be existence amongst them in complete union, in a complete circle, to create a complete tone, and without any outside energetic influence. When that outside energetic influence comes, Seth energy, to destroy it, that's something outside of God. That posits a negative. That begins a story. That breaks up the unity of love and the tone. That shatters the verse. That shatters the unity. Then that allows for the action of the narrative to take place. Now, how you play the narrative out is the son, after whatever goes in the story, has to come and fight out, because the duality between light and dark has to play itself out, so that there's a posit, there's a self that emerges between the interplay of those opposites. And then that self stands back from the interplay of those opposites and reads himself into the language and the story. So the story of the narratology, the actual narration, seeing the myth as a linear progression, as the condensation of the Heru energy into Pharaonic energy, becomes the idea of self. And it's not fully released until what we call the Eurasian allows each one of his people to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Meaning that they didn't have to use the sonic quality of the pictures in the church and the sonic qualities of the hymns and the Latin that the preachers used to mesmerize them with. They could go and read the Bible in linear language as a story that told them that Jesus Christ cared about them as an individual. That's the rise of the individual. That's the rise of the I. That's the rise of subjective, verb, objective orientation in the world. When he did that, he gave each of his people a new form of thinking, and they were able to maximize linear thought because of that. We've never done that. We don't even know how to do that. The closest we come to that is being an artist and embodying that. But in terms of having a language and using the linear mode of reasoning to actually establish that and write codes and create laws and black codes and and superficial structures to preserve this identity through this thing they call racism and this fiction they call the white man. There's no way we could do that. We just know how to flip the language in the tones. Lil Booty know how to flip the language in the tones and star out and Jesus Christ up in the world of the contrapositive. Lil Wayne, all of them know how to do this energy and manipulate it, but don't have the logic behind how to structure it. So they can bend and flip and spin around and create energy within the world of tones, but these people are still moving linear, and they have to move linear, and they have to posit an end. That's the major point of the Jesus Christ narrative, is that there's an end. You see, that's what keeps the line straight. If you don't have an end, you don't have a line. So can't nobody tell you that. You have a ray, and a ray bends, and it's subject to universal forces. And you can't create a line if it doesn't have an end point. That's why you got to have revelation to the Jesus narrative. And that's why the revelation has to end in the redemption of the self, the fiction of the Christ, which is you. And you realizing that it's a product of language. It's a thing. And a thing is a category of a noun. And a noun is a posit. And a posit is a fiction. It's a figure that comes out of the true-false logic that's separated when God had a thought. I don't know what more to say to you. I'm going to demonstrate all this, though, when I put up, all little type of things, and we can go into history, and people don't believe what I'm saying about us populating the Caribbean from the Americas, and things like that, and what actually happened when people got here, and how they learned the lodge structure and all type of things. I'm gonna even tell people crazy stuff, that Marcus Garvey was a Mason from the Black Star Order that was created in 1888 and established churches to reconstruct our history and put us on an Africanism orientation to further hide and deceive what was going on. And this somebody that's been, I know EWF, I know Nightingale, I know 12 Tribes, Bobo Shanti, them all my brethren, but I'm telling you the truth about where Marcus Garvey was, where he came from, where he got his deal from. It was a whole different order, what was going down. And there's a whole lot of things that happen to keep the identity of the Negro, which is a whole different self, which is posited under the Jesus Christ myth. But it's another story, and they had to create a narrative for the Negro that you had to believe in, that you cannot go tell grandma is not real.
Right.
You cannot go tell people that their narrative for the black experience is not real. They will go make it real. I'm surprised Oprah Winfrey and certain niggas ain't went and dug up a slave ship from somewhere and put a museum on it. Like, yes, we were enslaved, like a million. And this is what happened. And have a slave ship museum and have niggas going there to further the fiction. I may have just gave them an idea for $1 million. Excuse me, family and nations out there. I didn't mean to do that if I did it. But, I mean, it's that serious that the narrative structure of how you see self condensed in the logo. See, everybody thinks, like I said, they think the logo was the word and this historical figure called Jesus Christ. No. It was how they encapsulated the 4 parameters of logic into this thing, this story, this fiction that will become the book. If you're a Muslim, and you're a Muslim out there, and you tell me anything about the Quran or the Quran, I know you don't know what you're talking about, straight up, because the Quran is a song that was sung and was never supposed to be written down. Some Jewish people came and wrote that book down in the 1800s, after they had established and formalized what the Jesus Christ would be, the book of Christianity. And then they gave everybody the book and called them the people of the book. and they went back and took their tones, their stories, and encoded them in the book. Then they went and gave them people back their book. And then that allowed them to create all different types of cells within the faction. So you got mad different Muslim cells, mad different Muslim factions running around destroying the tones that was the original song. And the reason the Muslim doctrine was so effective because it never acknowledged Christ as a God. It always treated Christ as a fiction. That's why they said he was one of the prophets. Now that song, and it was sung to the people, all the ignorant people that they call pagans. And pagan meant the people that lived in the fucking country, not the people that lived in the urban, under the cross, under the TetraGrammaton and the law. These are people that lived in the country that had to be sung into the law because they only could respond to tone. And that's why the Muslim shit spread so well around the world, because they kept the song real. And then once that shit got deep, and they brought all them people into commerce, and they brought them into, because once you learn the song, you can go to the mosque. Once you go to the mosque, now we can teach you logic, we can teach you structure and language, we can teach you all type of shit. Once that happened, they dropped the book on them niggas in 1800 and broke their ass up with the new self that came out the book. And they created all these people of the book. None of these people had no books before then. I don't care what anybody tells you. A few people had scrolls, and scrolls ain't books. They're rolled up. And they read right to left. They don't read left to right. They're the old form. They're approximating the tones. They're taking this world in reverse to create reality. But when we flip the map and moved into linear perspective and the compass square logic, where we tried to square the circle, and the bottom world, the world of the square, will become the dominant way of thinking. The linear sentence overpowered what we call the world of tones, just by being the concept of the book, and the book being the concept of narration. And everybody's telling a story about what this is, what that was, but they don't tell you how it works, really, and how the logic behind its creation and how it manifested. And I don't care what they say. Anybody want to debate me, we can go pull out all their little historical dates and all their little areas of people, and we can talk about how this doctrine moved through the Tartars and to this generation of people, into the Seleucs, the Mamluks, the this, that. We can have fun. But I'm just going to sit here and explain the logic to you, and you're going to look stupid. Because what I'm saying is real. This is real fact, factual shit. This is what happened. And this is how they flip the script on us. And I don't like that a lot of people are not teaching my people just how to think. That was my main thing when I was teaching in the classroom. Like, yo, I'm just going to teach you how to actually think critically. Not how to argue with somebody, all right? And not how to persuade somebody. So I know all the levels of rhetoric. We're just going to do with what's the metaphor that they're operating in and the four parameters that you can posit a statement. How is that relevant to the sense of self that they're projecting through their use of linear language? And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how many languages you go learn to speak. You got to turn that shit into linear thought, a subjective verb orientation for it to make sense in your mind. In your mind, you have to recreate it in the English syntax and the subjective verb orientation. Period. Otherwise, you can't make sense of how it's oriented because you came out of the book. You're one of the new consciousness on earth that was subject to the book. But because you're melanin, this is where we get into some deeper shit about the world of tones. When I explain to people that the world was one tone, you can envision it as one carbon atom, or no, one hydrogen atom spinning so rapidly. In this scientific theory now, which is the monad. This is the destruction of the monad. If you know the monad, that's the unity of one, which is the TetraGrammaton, which is the four. When you get the hydrogen atom spinning so fast that it blows up completely, and it's already done.
Hello?
That becomes the carbon of the universe.
Speak on that tone, because your voice was breaking up a second ago.
Oh, okay. when you
yeah, you're good right there.
When you get a metaphor for the primary tone of God, you can express it as the hydrogen atom spinning, just one element, spinning so fast that it blows itself up. This is just scientific metaphor now. When it blows itself up, when it blows itself up completely to where all that's left is carbon. That's all that exists in the universe is burnt carbon. Now, people are like, what the hell is he talking about? How you slow the carbon down. And that's the mathematics of pi. That's slowing the point down in the line to where it can find the frequency to move in an elliptical orbit, because it can't move in a perfect circle. And it can condense itself into matter. It's real talk. It can condense itself into matter. That matter becomes a reflection of light. Because you have melanin, and what melanin is the ability to filter carbon out of the light that's coming from the condensed carbon of the universe and other stars and other things that have condensed themselves on a different frequency and a different elliptical orbit. And they give off a light and a frequency that affects you as a melanated being, and then your melanin allows you to attune more of the carbon energy coming from the light, which is the universe slowing down, because it's already blew up. That's what the Christian science behind the doctrine of predestination and everything's already written, all that science is about, is the fact that it's already blew up and there's nothing there. And it's the ash, the remnant, the carbon-14 that is condensing down in different forms of radiated light that we have the most power on Earth to actually refract and descend and work back into the actual tone that spun the carbon atom in the first place to make it blow up. And that's why we have so much talent in whatever medium of tone we choose to go into. Whatever art is based on a manipulation of frequency, which is a construction of tone. Even if it's painting, you're manipulating the four fundamental colors, which is, once again, the TetraGrammaton, the Gamma Medion, the logo, the logic box, the duality of you expressed in the four fundamental colors of light. We got to remember, black and white ain't colors. They're polarities to express duality. And that's the science behind what's actually going on between what they want to refer to as the white man, which is a concept, an idea that doesn't exist in fiction, coming out the narrative of Jesus Christ to give Eurasians a self in the linear dimension against the tonal quality of darkness, which is the universe condensing in upon what they consider real, which is linear. And they're force a straight line out of a line that's bending. So they have to project the end. They're searching for the end of the universe, the limit, and the universe keeps running away from them. They keep condensing further, and they keep going into nano, contrapositive logic. They're way down on the negative scale to where, you know, they got numbers with a trillion zeros behind them and doing equations with them to multiply quarks and all other type of shit they discovering when they do their particle accelerating and all these other crazy things, because they looking. They don't know what they're going to find. They keep searching, and the line keeps getting bigger because they're looking for the end, and there must be an end. That's why they keep looking. And as they keep looking, the shit keeps getting back upon itself in contrapositive logic. But now I'm getting a little
on that right there, you're not getting too deep. You're going exactly where we need you to go. I want you to pause it right
you want
there.
to open it up for questions? You want people to call in?
Hold on. The top is spiraling. It's like Inception. We're going to do this 11:11 meditation. You know, we got to integrate this information, let it filter, you know what I'm saying? You know, like how snow falls and shit like that. We got to let this information filter and fall through our system a little bit. and the necessary questions are going to fall where they need to be, and we'll get to them right after our 11:11 meditation because the hands are definitely up. All right, so we will be back very shortly after this meditation, and we'll get into question and answer. All right, my Lord?
Yo, peace to the family of nations out there.
All right, hold on tight. We'll be right back. Family, you know the drill. 11:11 meditation. Find yourself somewhere pitch black, feet flat to the floor, back straight, pulling that air from the abdominals, exhaling out of the mouth, closed eyes, tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, Om Mani Padme Om, the perfect balance of the jewel and the lotus, okay? So right now, the brother's talking is about balancing the hemisphere, the right and the left of the brain, all right? So we can take it there. We will be back shortly. See you on the other side. Peace, family. Yes, indeed. You hear them original tones, man?
Yo. Am I online?
Yes,
Peace
yes.
to the family of nations.
Yes, you are.
Am I there?
Yeah,
Am I there?
you're there.
All right, peace
Yeah.
to the family and nations, man. Yes, man, I love them songs.
Yes, brother.
Them songs move the spirit, move us up through the 7 chakras. What I was going to build on the people with right now is an expression of a little language so they can understand. All right. When you're dealing with American English, notice I said American English. Remember what happened with Jesus Christ, the quintessential expression occurred in the American sense itself, what they call the New World. So there's 10 basic sentences. There's 10 ways to formulate a thought, 10 ways to express a relationship, and it comes out of 6 phrases and 4 fundamental clauses. Those 6 phrases correspond to the seed of life, the 6 sides of the box of logic. Because what a lot of people don't understand is the logic is not just a square, it's a box that has feminine and positive energy on each side of the box. Each side of the box has the 4 posits. The box has 6 planes. The 6 planes are the 6 phrases. The 4 posits are the 4 fundamental ways of placing something in a clause. The clause has a subject and verb. And its relationship. Anything that doesn't have a subject and verb and it's just words placed in a close relationship is a phrase. There's only 6 ways of phrasing something. There's only 4 ways of qualifying that in sentences and through the 4 fundamental clauses, the expression itself. Those 10 sentences are the 10 paths of the Zephyroth in Kabbalah, the 10 Zephyroths that they give you. The 4 clauses are the 4 condensations of the Zephyroth. Now, they lock you down in the 3rd one, the SVO, because those 4 condensations can correspond to the positive, negative, contrary, contrapositive domains of logic expressed in a tetra in a tetra linear expression of a cross inside the box, which is the gametion, which is the swastika, once again, which is the gimel, which is the light bending at 90 degrees to break your ass down in that section of the box. Now, the 6 phrases is the seed of life that gives birth to the fundamental flower of life, of which those 10 categories of reasoning, they limit your logic to. And that's why when you go to English class, I'm telling you now, real talk, my niggas out there, when you go to English class and you're trying to learn your adverb phrase, your adjective phrase, your appositive phrase, your verbals, your gerund, your infinitive, your what we're going to get to the infinitive, and your participle, you don't know what the fuck going on. And you struggle. You get mad. You don't understand the grammar. That's the TetraGrammaton at work in your face. And how you're taught in a regular English class in 5th grade, in 7th grade, 8th grade. But because it ain't oriented to the science of who you are and how you establish yourself, somebody else is projecting a logic into you to make you hate a language that is the only language that you can use to operate in the linear perspective. And can't nobody do it. This is why everybody that speaks tones in the world or communicates in tones, and the last remnant of that is over there in the Asian languages, they all have to adopt the linear phonetics of sound and tone and express a linear perspective. They send their students over here to learn this. You go to the high-powered English classes I went to, you see more Asians in there than anybody. I was the only brother. Everybody else was in business and social sciences getting programmed to be revolutionaries, to make one revolution, one revolt, one vote, one energy of charge, and you end up in the same point and do nothing but claim they were revolutionary. And all that is one term, one cycle. And to actually spin your record, my nigga, you got to spin around more than one time. All that revolutionary talk, I don't know what they be talking about. in the language itself and what the word means and how it's applied and where it emerged and where it was posited. And I'm explaining all this to show y'all. I used to tell my students, the white man don't hide, what y'all call the white man don't hide nothing from you. You just ain't been taught how to learn it. They show everything. They show their hand. They just put a distraction off to the side. Everyone that knows magic, that's what magic is. Magic is illusion. They go distract your eye. But the truth will be right in your face. That's how this shit works. That's the science behind it. The basic language that you're speaking, because you don't know how it's structured, has locked your ass down. It's that simple. In itself, it doesn't exist. Now you prefer to recreate that self through selfies and the Android me, rather than understand where it came from, how it was a new idea in the world that was rejected by people. Rejected to the point to where they had to trick them into getting the book. Now you got mad niggas going around with books, telling new narratives, locking your ass down in a new noun, a new subject, trying to get to you a new object called revolution, called freedom, called off with the white man's head, called whatever. But they're still placing your ass in third dimension logic, and you're not going to come out of it unless you understand how they're doing this. And that's what I came to explain to the people. That's what the rise of the Logo Sapien is. The Logo Sapien is you. You're nothing but a media projection of the logic associated with the creation of a fiction called Jesus Christ living in a commercial fiction as a person, a personage, a persona, a thought, a dynamic of characterization in the narrative of white supremacy, as some niggas would say. But that's what's going on, B. That's what most people are.
That's inclusive of the entire the structure that people find themselves in terms of, the calendar. But this is linear time, and it's all, composed around.
Tell people that I used to tell my students, I used to start my class with the circle and the line. I would draw a circle and a line. And I would explain, from that I could explain linear time. And then I would have to flip the line and show them and flip the line into a 1 to make the 1. This is important, very important. The 1 has to exist for this world to work, the neo, all that bullshit, the self, the I, the possessive noun, the noun case. Because any noun is a possessive noun, I don't care what they tell you, without the fucking S. The noun is possessing its space. It's been isolated from every other reality into a thing constructed in a sentence relationship. So the noun is occupying a space of language, and it's possessing that space. And it comes out of the concept of I. This is why my students used to go into linguistics and rhetoric and fuck them up. How did they know this? Because I'm teaching them master degree shit in elementary school. Because this is elementary to the black man if he really get down with it. And he understand what these people actually did to you. So when you posit the noun, right, and you put it in language, and yourself becomes emblematic and reflective of that totality of being. You don't exist outside of that. You just don't. That's the whole structure of your mind. That's the structure of how your metaphoric reality. And when you get to your metaphoric, that's how you're carried beyond the physical into the metaphysical. It's through the metaphoric. That's the force to carry you beyond into the metaphysical. And when you get carried beyond that, into that, by somebody else's understanding of the logic, you get twisted. And you don't understand what's popping off. You just don't. And I just, teach people how to write, how to understand how this linear code of language actually functions and works and is created as the primary mode of thinking in a world based on linear concepts of the circle and the line. So when I put the circle up, I explained to them that anytime you've seen time, you've seen it pictured in the circle. The clock will move in the circle. If you get a digital watch, just go rotate from 1 to 24, well, from 0 to 24. Take that back. From 0 to 24 to 12 to 12 is going to rotate. Every time you see moves in the circle. But they give you a timeline. Why do they give you a timeline? Because Jesus has to be real. There has to be a point in the beginning that myself, that my I, that Jesus, the concept of me, the idea of me in this story had to have a beginning. You see, original man don't have no beginning. Original man is found everywhere on earth. They don't find no original man. Everywhere they go, they find original man. Original man ain't from Africa. Original man from earth. All over at one time. Original man. Anybody that knows the true science of Africa know most of the people that look like us are immigrants into sub-Saharan Africa and went in there and abused the pygmies and raped them up and created Hittite and Bushmen with some Mongolian blood. But we immigrants to Africa. That's why niggas is crazy over there. It's real talk, and people know that. So I don't want to get into original man talk and Africa being the birth of the original man. Original man is all over earth because original man is the emblematic of the sonic quality of God and the first original burst of sound, which was everywhere at once and condensed into self everywhere at once when they wanted to manifest in third dimension. This is what happened. And I don't want to talk to and argue to people about it because it's the truth. This is why you go dig anywhere on earth, you go find original man. And you're not going to be able to name it anything. You can't put a noun on it. You can't posit it in your story unless you go and say, well, those original men over there, they were Druids and they came out of this degree and they met with these niggas that came over this mountain because you telling the story, nigga. You call it a narrative. You trying to give a long-ass sentence to justify your I, your you, because this is how you were taught to think without you knowing it. Because this is how they forced you in the box through contrapositive reasoning. They doing contrapositive reasoning on your ass. They don't give a fuck if you make the fiction real, Hebrew Israelites, and you go into the Bible, a fictitious book, and pull out every fucking verse and create a perfect balance in your sentences within the book. That's a story for you to add to the substance and reality of the story. Come on, bring that tonal quality of energy into our fiction. We pocket everything in the SF anyway. We don't give a fuck if you're lying or telling the truth. But bring that shit over here, and we'll put you in Israel. We'll give you money. We'll put you on the street corners. We'll let you do everything. You can influence your people. You can have fun. Because we want that tone and that story. We want that narration. As long as you don't teach the people that that's what's going on and this is how thought and this is what was hidden in the negative positive, when you go into the negative and what was going on with the creation of the devil, positive against the Jesus Christ, the new sense of self, and the contrary form of reasoning, which would become the projection of the linear dynamic along this box that they would lock your ass down in. You know what I'm saying? That's the essence of what I mean by the Logo Sapiens, is that the Logo Sapiens is the product of the logic inherent to the word, which is the metaphor, which is the fundamental analogy. A is B as C is to D, which is the essence of metaphor, which is the TetraGrammaton, which is the positive, negative, contrary, contrapositive form of reasoning. I'll even tell people this. Check this out. Go look up the proposition for I in an equation, and they're going to tell you that it's A is B. That I is A is B. To be or not to be is A or B. It's I. They both say the same thing. The union of the subject, verb, object in that statement. When you pose it as a question, you create confusion, and now contrary reasoning based on someone else's logical manipulation of the dichotomy locks your ass down in a linear form of reasoning through other people's metaphoric applications of the creation of yourself. What it is. And that's not no funny circular reasoning I'm saying. They use metaphoric applications of sound and tone and words to create yourself and narrative identity based on understanding the logic of what I just told y'all.
Okay, let me give you your...
You want to open up, see if anybody want to get on the line?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a obligatory bomb. Now we're going to take it to the phone. You heard?
What's up?
Let's go to the Keystone State first. Let's take it to Philly. Call us from the 215-215-609. Call us from the 215. Peace. (215-609). Peace. Okay, I'll come back to the brother. Family, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, now is the time. Now is the time to press 1 on your phone, okay? And we will come to your line and open up. Let's go to the 202-733. 202. Caller from 202. Peace.
Peace. No question, man. Hey, yeah, no question. Just listening in.
Okay.
No question?
Just listening?
No, you, it's good. Yeah, I'm just listening, man. No questions at all.
Do you need him to reiterate on any points? You following the bill? You got it?
Yeah, right in. It's better you continue because it was the machine that had pressed it. You good to keep on continuing, man. I think everyone is, in the same boat.
Let me go to the 917-734. 917-734.
Peace,
right.
family.
Yes, sir.
Blue, red, brother Buda. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna keep it totally 100. What you laid down tonight was by far, in my lifetime, the best presentation I ever heard in my life. And I've heard, I'm almost 40 years on this planet. This is the best presentation I ever heard. I salute you with both arms right now. I'm gonna tell you.
Peace to the family of nations, man. I've just been, I was supposed to get his bill to my youth, man, and with his passing and he being in the ether, I just decided to give it to the people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have nothing to sell anybody. All right, I hustle straight out. I don't care. If you don't like it, so what, B? That's what it is. I ain't got nothing to sell you. I got, I'm a roster, put it that way, on that level. Now, from my family. Now, on another thing, I ain't got nothing to sell nobody out there. Anybody you want knowledge, you want to build, it's free over here. It's for the people. I ain't got nothing to sell you. I'm not in commercial fiction. I got money. I don't need that. I'm here to build with anybody who want to build now. That's real talk. That's real talk, my nigga. So I have nothing to sell anyone out there. And I want all the people to know that anybody who want to build with me, you want me to show up, I'm there. You ain't got to have any money. You ain't got to care about money. I don't care if you get money off what I'm doing. Do your thing. I'm here to build and put this knowledge out to the ether because I really want to teach our people how to think. Because I know what these white folks is doing when they allow these people to go in with these concepts and just have one little idea to build on. And they'll create one little noun, one little fiction. And they'll create a whole theory behind that noun in fiction and manifest it. And then we'll go and chase their story and try and put ourselves in the story that they created, which is crazy to me because we don't understand the logic behind how to create and how to think because all creation happens in thought. And they never told us there was only 4 fundamental ways to think about something. That was the science of God and the science of the circle and the square and what the Masons is keeping from it and why they get knocked 3 times on their head and all this and why they got 3 degrees. That's the SVO, the subjective verb orientation of reality. And after they get boosted out to 3 degrees, they get cast into the 10 sentences, which works through the 21 paths of language to formulate alphabet and rhythm, and they 32 degrees of language, which is how they lock your ass down.
Yeah. Man, what you laid down.
I appreciate the love, is what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you because how you formulated your presentation, I never looked at a lot of the things the way you formulated it that way, but I understood you wholeheartedly because I build and deal in the realm of geometry. So everything you're saying, the way you put it, was perfect. I understood clearly. It was real clear for me listening to you go through your progression. I understood. I was like, everything you're saying was extremely lawful from my perspective. In particular, I love the way how you eloquently you transition from the whole into that linear space. Because a lot of people don't recognize, you can see what you're talking about, you can see in the geometric shapes on how the ancestors built. If you go back...
Oh, yeah. That's the whole science of it. That's
the whole science of it. Their homes were curvaceous. They weren't linear.
Yeah, and see, what they don't understand is you structure through language now. That's the secret.
Yeah. That's right.
That they created your structure in language now. It's not physical.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's not physical. And so based on how you lock yourself down and understand the code embedded in the science of the language is how you structure self. It's crazy what they did, and then you create a narrative in which you're the Jesus Christ. I don't care what anybody says. You can be a Muslim. I'm going to tell you, you're the Jesus Christ.
And what else I also appreciated in your presentation as well, in talking about language and how they also structured, they were very strategic in the characters they used, because what most people don't know about, at least the English language that we use from A to Z, that it operates out of specific colors. Yellow.
Oh, yes.
Green,
yes.
turquoise.
I need to deal with you, my lad.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Amber, yellow, green, lime green, aqua green. Those are all of the colors from A, B, and also that operates from 0. They use those same colors or frequencies, however you want to style it, from 0 to 9 as well. So as you was going through all of that, I understood it because I play in that realm of geometry and creating from an artistic standpoint, and I totally agree with you. I find it hard for me to understand the way they teach it, so I have to learn it from the way I look at things. I can't learn it the way people in a square or linear structure teach it. I have to look at it from my perspective in order to understand it, and then I'm able to understand what they're trying to do. But like you said, you have to be an artist.
I put this out there on the people. Anybody, student, son, got problems with anything in English class, any novel, any book, any assignment, any essay they writing, holler at your boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'll teach you what to do to make it very simple, where you can go into class and the next week your son will be a student in the English class, and the teacher will start fighting him down because they'll think he's someone else is doing his work. They won't believe they won't believe that he's comprehending this, because it wasn't made for him to comprehend, because he don't have a linear mind. But somebody with a nonlinear mind came and broke this down for my people.
Yes. Oh, no question. No question. And one last thing, and I'll let the other family members chime in. I like how, again, going back to the spherical into the linear, one of the things I noticed when going in on geometry, and I find it sort of a riddle when you look at the circle and the square. And one of the things that people don't recognize or really understand about all shapes, all linear shapes want to become whole.
Exactly.
All holes, right, and all holes want to become linear. So when you look at the circle, when you look at the circle and the square, I tell people it doesn't make sense trying to square the circle, because in essence it's a riddle. When the circle contracts, they put the square there to show you the end point. They're showing you two end points, but there is a middle shape, which is that hexagon shape. Now, when you take that hexagon shape, and if you just see it without the lines pointing into the middle of that hexagonal shape, what happens when you see it, it throws you off. But when you draw those lines and you turn your head to 22.5 degrees, you see the cube. So as you was talking about the square being the cube, you're absolutely right. But what people don't recognize is that when you were talking about how they went from a curvaceous state into a linear state, that also follows the timeline in Earth's history. Because when you go back to when the last axial, Earth's last axial tilt, which was about 10 or 12,000 years ago,
exactly,
you start noticing the change in time, and so they had to do the contraction when they started making a more linear reality for folks moving back 12,000 years. But here's what's interesting: if you follow the numbers, at that point in time, before the axial tilt, it was 24.5 degrees. Right? Now we're at 23. Right, we're at 23 now, and then
now we're talking Logo Sapiens.
That's right. That's right. And then when it gets to that next state, when it gets to the next axial tilt, we'll be at 22.5 degrees, and you'll be at the end point right now. We're in a transitionary period in the next few thousand years. When that next axial tilt, they're preparing us to be the new, those who understand the science, whatever they're trying to do, they're going to do that with this axial tilt business. But, brother, I appreciate you. This is the best presentation, hands down, I've ever heard in my life. Oh.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Can I explain something to you? And this is no bragging, B. I got people in out of gate. This ain't my presentation, B. I just been freestyling and explaining things straight out what I know from my mind to you. This is just me talking to the people. This is a dialogue. This is a dialogue. And remember, a log is the positive of the logo, so that we can enter into a non-dualistic form of communication where the subject and object is intertwined in a space called dialoguing. And even though I was in a monotone or a monologue, it seemed like I was really dialoguing to the consciousness of the Logo Sapiens out there. That's why you rose up. And everything you're saying is what I mean by Logo Sapiens. Like the whole logic you breaking down in your artwork, how you see the universe, that's the Logo Sapiens. That's what's going to fight the android me. Now, what I've been explaining to people is when they release this powerful crystal that they're going to have in 2026, when the Moore's Law drops, which is, do the pun on that, do the math on that, they got Moore's Law, which regulates the actual destruction of the computer, the collapse of the computer chip. That's what Moore's Law is. And it breaks down when the computer will reach a redundancy and they will start etching on light. And they will have infinite space in the two crystals that posit and decode this light beam. They're searching for this beam now. And they're searching for the crystal to focus this beam. And they're going to manifest it just by placing this in the narrative. This is what people understand.
Yes,
now,
sir.
when they do this, there's going to be infinite space in the computer chip, instant reality. That actual light code is either going to lock your ass down in your Android me, all you selfie-taking motherfuckers, or it's going to come with the Logo Sapiens. And the logic that I'm talking about is going to blow up something new, because we're going to be outside that box of logic. Because right now the computer chip can already run the contrapositive to its infinite equation. When they hit the light beam, they're going to be beyond what the contrapositive can do. So that means a whole new form of logic will exist. Most people will be locked down in contrapositive or contrary forms of reasoning in their Android me. They're self-encapsulated in the old paradigm of the computer chip. We, through the light, the new light that will come, will be the people that won't need a computer chip. We'll be telepathic. I'm not saying no mysterious alien shit. I'm telling you real talk. That when this light beam hits, either you're going to be an Android me or you're going to be part of the 100 months, the original man. The download that happens everywhere on Earth at one time. And I feel you want to be brothers.
I appreciate that, man. I definitely want to build with you behind the scenes, because I'm listening to your mind. I want to, in a little while, I'm working on something that's extremely monumental. And I'm just waiting for a couple things to once it manifests itself. I definitely want to build with you, because I think what I have to share, you will definitely appreciate it on a whole different other level. And I definitely need to build. Blue, I don't. Blue, red, I don't know what to even say. I don't even know where you found this cat.
Yo, B, there's people that know how to contact God. There's no problem, B. You know what I mean? Don't even worry yourself. We'll leave. That's no problem. I want to set up. I'm trying to do a little conference. I got a little college.
Yes, man. Yeah, I don't even know what to say, man. You know, this kind of intelligence.
Line, his line, the brother's line just dropped. He'll be calling back in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
I very seldom run into this kind of intelligence.
It's like you when you came on the program. When you came on the program with your bill, you had people scratching their head the same way. Like, yo, where did you find this dude? Like, what is he talking about? It all makes sense.
Man, and I held back a lot of stuff, too.
I know you did, brother. You were skimming the surface. You know what I'm saying? Just get the people indoctrinated into that form of thought where they can process what's being said. Let me open up his line, and they can use the geometry of thought, like you said.
Yes.
The geometry of thought. You know what I'm saying? This brother, like they said in the chat room, he's giving out free compass and squares tonight.
True. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel him. For like 2 or 3 years, a lot of the people in your audience, like when I call up and then, sometimes I would, give out my information in years past, I would call them up here hours. I literally would I feel where you're coming from. I would just talk to people, just give them dialogue, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours on the phone. Many of the members in your audience and other, because I don't care about, I tell them I don't care about information, you know what I'm saying? I don't charge them. I don't do none of that. I just give it out. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, you should be charging. I'm like, just give out a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the information. Just build, just as long as you go ahead and give it to somebody else so they can learn, too, and build.
Yeah. All right. You know how much I get chastised from people like, man, you need to take these people to the cleaners. You need to charge this. You need to. I'm like, huh? For real?
Yeah.
That's not how it was taught to me. You know, the elders took time out. If anything, they was losing money because if time is money, right, if something's so goddamn capitalistic, and I don't remember it being like that when I was growing up. Everybody was straight. Like, niggas wasn't really complaining about bread too much. So, the elders, it was more about the process of them looking to see who they wanted to spend their time on. And when they found somebody that was qualified, then they started pouring that information, that wisdom into you, with the hopes that you was going to grow up to be, you know, a strong oak as well, and you would turn around and do the same. So in that tradition, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Sure, there might be, you know, some financial imperatives attached to it if you're producing materials, books and DVDs, and you're going on lectures and you got to travel and everything. But I seriously doubt that people are in this to, you know, to strike it rich.
Right.
You in the wrong profession, homie.
Yeah.
Yo. Am I online?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
here with us, brother.
You know, you punched me. Yo, B, I wasn't talking about that on the economic thing, B. Like I said, I don't care if somebody make money on me. Go ahead. The information, I'm like, yo, what I'm talking about is so natural. It's a natural resource, B. You're supposed to get money off of it, B.